Hey, it's me, and it's you, and you're sitting there, and that's a thing. How are you? It's another day, and yet I find myself awake at 2, almost 3 in the morning. Not sure why I do that a lot, and I do that. Yeah, it's silly, but I'm just up. I just was like kind of sleeping, I guess, and I'm just up. Having weird dreams. Always been that way since I've moved here in Alabama, in this place. I keep seeing, like, I don't know, just like visions of shit. It's like, what the fuck? And then I just kind of go, whatever. Cause like, when you're when you're someone who like sees visions of things and they actually feel like they might be symbols or something, for me, I'm just like, fuck, I don't want to deal with this. So that's kind of where I'm at. Obviously, I was just trying to say, I've walked into a situation. I've tried to explain it kind of last video that I said I feel like I'm cursed, and that again, why do I end up in abusive situations? And like, I'm deeply contemplative about it now, to the point that I know that there's a meaning, there's a reason, and I believe in God now. Like, I believed in God before, but I mean, I really believe there's a plan. The universe has a plan. Even no matter what we call it, I'll just call it the universe has a reason for things, to make us better people, to refine us in some way, and fight evil, to balance things. Somehow, I think I am like an aid, like I am like a medicine to balance energy that is happening, like bad energy that can happen in people's lives. I am there every time. Why? I don't know. Every event in my life, it's like I it, it's like it gets me out of bed, but it makes me not want to do anything. It's so frustrating, but I think that's on purpose. Like, that's got to be by design. Like, I'm in the Matrix, bro. Like, I'm not crazy, but it just makes you feel crazy. That's like the thing of going, this makes me want to solve problems, but at the same time, it makes me weary. I've just recently just realized how much my mind is warped and fashioned around understanding everything that is happening psychologically to such a degree that it's like, these people who are doing the things they're doing, anyone who does anything abusive, they're in danger with me. Like, they need to run. I I think it's something weird to say, that's like, I am actually a danger to people who are evil. No joke. Because I know every possible thing to say to them to mess them up. Just with words. That's it. I can scare the shit out of them. And that I have recently. I confronted said person in said situation. I'm not going to explain it. And they've dialed back. And if they do anything, I will press forward and say, this keeps happening. I paused at the recording. I didn't want to say what I wanted to say. Um, but I won't be here either way after a while. All I was saying was if things keep happening, but I don't think I am okay with saying what I wanted to say in recording. I'm not gonna hurt people. I'm just saying that there may or may not be legal issues going on, and that I am in the middle of it. So yeah, and I know things that could hurt said person who's hurting or causing the issues, and they're in danger. I'm also in danger, but I have to be careful. So yeah, the reason I'm being so calm and serious right now is because that is my reality. If I don't get out of here, I am constantly caught between that. Excuse me, sorry. So, things are fucking real and scary. And I'm saying no to it. Like, enough. It's like it's in a funny way, people who think they can abuse for a long time don't think um, things can catch up to them, like consequences. But they do. Either way, the truth comes out. Either way, that's the reality, or it doesn't. But they live the rest of their life lying, or they have to like I don't know. I don't know what happens to those people. But I recently remind myself of a quote, or at least I write it in a certain way, as though I walk through the valley of shadows, the Lord will be with me for the rest of my days. Because I feel like I've been walking through that valley for a long time, that I live in it now. This isn't just some statement that everyone gets to say, oh, I'm dealing with this right now. I grew up in that valley, and I only know it so well now. And it's broken me and reshaped me, and I'm stronger and better than I've ever been, but I'm weary as fuck about shit. I'm tired of people getting hurt. I'm tired of being afraid. So it's time for me to be brave. And it's like this time I have so much power, but I'm afraid to use it. I'm afraid with that much responsibility what that could do, because I want to make the right choices, not just be like, don't fuck with me or I'll fuck with you. I'm careful and I'm caring with people, even despite everything that some said person might do to me or hurt someone I care about or whatever. I want things done right. I don't want things just to fall apart, because I've had my whole life fall apart multiple times. Living with my parents, my life fell apart. And then living with Sam, my life fell apart. And there's always a parallel or a connection to each one. That's the fun part. I'm learning a lot that I was actually told between my own father and my experience and with the person I'm staying with, that this one person was doing dark magic. I don't know if you believe in this stuff, but sapping life force and transmuting energy to give themselves more power over people. But this is some dark shit that, even if you believe in it or not, there's consequences for that shit. There's gotta be. They were doing this to me for years and still are trying to in some way. Um, it's like How is one person capable of all that evil? Not just the fact that they might have powers or some shit, or a deal with demons, but why the fuck would someone even want to be that? It's just beyond my comprehension. Why would you want to get up in the morning and be that person? Yet I've stared down this evil in my life in the face. This is why I'm not religious, but I've seen enough spiritual shit to scare you to death, and you would be questioning everything. And I don't question everything anymore. I just accept that these things are things we don't fully comprehend or understand, and there's a scientific explanation. Because I'm a very realistic person. I'm a very grounded human being, especially now. I look at everything analytically, everything from the ground up, whatever it is. I analyze how I feel. It's almost like I'm walking through, like a simulation, and you're going, okay, what's my heart rate at? What am I? Is my How am I breathing right now? Just all these different things. That's what I do with myself. It's how I ground myself and how I pay attention. So it's very sci-fi esque the way I approach spiritual shit. But fuck, it's what makes me feel safe. It makes me feel just better about it. But then I find a lot of commonalities, and there is a scientific approach to it that gives me the same results. Or I'm finding patterns, a lot of patterns, and subtle things that I'm just like, there's definitely something here. It's like in Ghostbusters. There's something here. There's definitely something here. It's like that feeling, or that, I don't know if you've watched Stranger Things. Like something's on the other side of the wall, and I can feel it. It's such a weird thing to use my own body to meter or detect or know that it's feeling a certain way about me, or that it has an intention, or there's a force, like a dark force in my life or in someone's life that's messing with them. The only way I know these things is I actually just kind of really just put myself in the situation, analyze it, test it, and I see the reaction, like people in the room reacting, people starting to get like, I don't feel good and my stomach's hurting. I'm getting like cold spots, or there's so many, like, at first, okay, you watch like a ghost hunting show, or you watch like a paranormal investigative kind of thing, and you're like, what the fuck? Okay, they're hyping it up for the views, but there's still an underlying, like, scientific approach, which I best show I can give you would be Ghost Adventures on the Travel Channel. Their approach in their most recent episodes is very consistent, and it's something I actually kind of follow, but to a degree. I go a little bit further because I know a bit more than them, and that's something I have to be careful with. There's certain things you don't say or do with, well, we'll just call them demonic forces. There's things you don't say or do, or you are opening up a Pandora's box of stupidity for yourself. Um, this is something that I've been very careful with, so careful with, in fact, that's like, I sometimes will walk into a room that's not spiritually good, and I try not to touch a certain object if it's got something on it, or I try to be really, really thoughtful in like the way I'm standing in the room, the way my emotions are. I get very um, internal. I go very, very deep into my own emotions before I even bother to try to understand everything that's going on. So yeah, it gets kind of deep. It's like a rabbit hole for me. And this isn't something I just wanted in my life. It wasn't just like, yeah, cool, sure, this makes sense. This is what I want. No, it just happens. I've been, ever since I was young, like really young, I've experienced the most bizarre, like what we call paranormal, or just fucking insane experiences, that now I'm just not even scared or phased. Like I am concerned. There's a different kind of fear, but it's not like a unknown fear. Like I don't know what's happening. There's still kind of that there, but not so much that I'm scared shitless or of the fuck. And that's what it was. I've heard that you hear that in stories or whatever, that they want you to be scared and they feed on your fear and shit and feed on your anger. And I can guarantee my anger becomes enhanced or my fear becomes way more than what it needs to be, an unrealistic amount, like a crazy delusional level. All of a sudden will come over me and then it'll go away, just like, oh, a flood, an overflow of these emotions, that when I say enough, I don't want any more, and I start breathing or creating my spiritual space, those feelings go away. They stop. So somehow I've managed to like concentrate and enhance myself somehow using meditation. Literally just breathing and meditation can push back these sorry, it's 3 in the morning. I'm not trying to be like this. Push back the energy. And we recently just started saying they don't exist. Like, for thousands of years, humans have acknowledged the existence of this stuff. Technology and everything has distracted us from it, and that's all right, I guess. But what it also does is desensitizes you. While you're distracted, while you're intoxicated on alcohol and drugs and giving into your addictions, you don't really understand or realize what's happening around you anymore, or believe in any of it. And that's good, I guess, for its purposes. But if you want to at least treat it like I do, scientifically, like a sci-fi approach. Okay, not sci-fi. I'm just saying, like, if you ever want to look at this in a way that it helps your mind, this is kind of what I'm trying to say. Helps your mind um, wrap itself around it. Just ask yourself, how do I feel in this room? Do I feel off? And just like it doesn't just happen. Like, it takes years kind of to understand what this stuff is. So if you hear a weird noise or you see something move, it's not moving on it. Like, you didn't move it; it moved on its own. Um, Sometimes it'll feel like the room is shaking, even though nothing's happening. Like, genuinely, like the room feels like it's unstable, yet it's completely fine. Those are clear signs something's up. Those are like the basic ones. Bad smells. Recently I smelled like rotting, something moving in front of me that smelled like rotting flesh. If you smell that, that's a clear sign. So those are kinds of like tips. Sound like John fucking Constantine, bro. It's like, fuck. Like, I'm a pretty down to earth dude. I'm a pretty humble guy at the beginning of my life. So I also heard that with people like me, they're drawn to me and terrified. Um, like, both. I was told that by people and told that by I'll admit it, spiritual voices or things showing me that I am more than what I think I am, and that I have like very complicated like road ahead of me, that I have a lot to face and I have a purpose, but I'm not sure what all that shit means. I'm like, okay, fuck. I feel like the only thing I can compare this feeling to that I'm feeling is like when you watch the movie Hellboy and he's like, I don't really know if I want this, but all right. Like when he's being tested or called to his destiny and shit. I feel like I have been put like a lot on my table, on my plate, that I can barely handle or comprehend. And on top of it, I was born with like a lot of disorders and stuff like that, which doesn't help me with it's mostly ADHD, borderline, just a lot of manic and emotional anxiety related disorders that are on top of all of that. And I've recently just gotten like a good handle on them. I try to make sure I ground myself constantly and don't sway my emotions too much around things that don't really matter or serve me in the long run, because people naturally just do that to themselves for no fucking reason. Just totally buy into and give themselves over to things that are just random fucking thoughts that aren't true. Total fucking lies. And that's the fun to catch 22, is sometimes those things that are telling you that lie are trying to tear you apart. And then where do those things come from? Like, ask yourself deep down, where are these lies coming from? Are they me? Or are they something that is trying to hurt me? And I will tell you, odds are it is something else. But sometimes, yes, your mind can play tricks on its own. It really can. But if you start recognizing these things outside of yourself, you become more aware and in control of your own mind to a degree that like you just know what's true or what's not true. And that's really powerful. That means you just kind of broke the system of bullshit that is keeping you, I would say, under control or whatever it's trying to do. So, yeah, this got really weird and complicated, but this is like the deepest shit I deal with on a constant basis, that I don't know how to like present to you this any other way or as cut and dry as I have. It's like, here it is. Here's what I got. And again, I'm not religious. I don't go to church. I don't like worship or anything. I don't have that. I just get up in the morning and I face things that are just like, what the fuck? And then I go to bed and I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, cool. I I think I am fighting something. This is like a battle. I'm fighting some kind of battle. We all are. Everyone is. And it's the age-old statement. It's a battle for your soul. And your soul's precious. You're precious. You matter so much. And only you know how much you matter to you, not to anyone else. And that's the greatest victory that you can have, is knowing your worth and knowing what you're capable of and being proud of yourself. Self-love is one of the most powerful things that you can ever achieve in your lifetime. So yeah, that's my message. That's what I'm trying to say. No matter what I say, that is my core message. Whatever I become, whatever happens to me, that's what I will always tell you. That you are worthless and your price, not worthless, sorry. I meant to say you're worth a lot and you're priceless, and my brain went worthless. That's not right. That was a total brain fart. You are worth more than anything, but you are also priceless. So make sure that you remind yourself that every day, that you're precious and that you're worth the time and you're worth getting to know and building a relationship with, but not needing someone else or needing that addiction that's been plaguing you for so long. But it's time to give yourself a chance. All right. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate that you took the time to listen to this video. And I hope to see you later. All right. Good night.